Well, I shouldn't have started this video with a mouthful of Butterfinger. Okay. So this is the other end of the stove project. Glen, the stove. Pardon my messy house. This is a storage corner right now, but this is Glen, the stove, and it's a coal stove, and it's got these copper tubes. There's even copper coils stuffed down in there. On either side, there's a chamber in the center where the fire actually is, and there's space on the side. So all those copper pipes go together to all these valves and doohickeys and blow-off valves, and there's a T&P, temperature and pressure valve down there to keep us safe and all that kind of stuff. So hot water cycles through that, picks up heat off the stove, and then it's pumped through the floor and back into my flatmates part of the house. We have two flatmates that live in the back of our house, and it goes to an old radiator, and then it obviously radiates the heat. Okay, so when we're up and running for this season, I'll have a temperature probe in this, so I can get a temperature of the water in the pipe as well as the room temperature. And if I can find $70 for a thermocouple, I'll actually have a sensor in the fire to tell me the temperature of the fire. And then right out there, if you can sort of see through the reflection, is our sunroom, which gets really cold. And so I'm going to take out this window and I'm going to put a flapper in there that will also be controlled by the robot brain to dump heat into the sunroom or to close off and keep the heat in here. Now, this is all it is right now. There's a microcontroller that's like a robot brain, okay? And then this is going to be blurry, but I got to get close. This little sensor right here, that little thingy right there. Let's see. It's always hard to do. You can't do macro with while you're making videos. That little sensor right there. Ignore this. This is the glowing nun, by the way. That's from an old project. So that's the temperature sensor right there, and it well, it tells the temperature, and then this wire here, depth perception with the camera. This is a sync cable that comes out, and it goes to this USB serial converter, which goes into a USB plug and eventually gets to here. This is my software running. Like, here's some of the code right here. My port right, so that right there it says write an N. That sends a letter N to the robot brain over here, and that N stands for need input. Alright, and then it gets that data back, information gets sent back, and then here is the day and the month, or the hour, the minute, alright, and the second, okay, and then here is its data port here. Come on, focus. Oh, Jesus, it's so hard. But at any rate, this is telling me all the status of the program. Like, here's the day, the month, and the time. I know you can't see this. This right here says T114. That's temperature, and then the number 114 coming from the robot brain. So that's just raw data, and then it gets converted in degrees. And then here, successfully updated, and then that has the last tweet I just tweeted right there. Current room temp, and then the degrees. That's the tweet you're seeing in Twitter. So that's my code sending it out right there. And eventually, like I said, it's just this one sensor right now telling the temperature of the room, because, well, it's just proof of concept. If I can send one piece of data, I can send a ton. So so eventually, like I said, I'll have sensors in those copper pipes, and a sensor out in the sunroom, and then the sunroom sensor and the sensor that's covering this room will open and close that flap I was talking about with a little motor to let heat out into the sunroom to keep Carrie's plants going. And oh, and there's how I maintain my youthful figure. Oh, and my roommate lent me his little car TV. I'm watching MacGyver. It's a DVD, but it needs 12 volts, and I don't have 12 volts. Well, I do, but it's going to a robot brain. So Walter, with some help with some jumper cables, Walter the robot was nice enough. Say hi, Walter. Walter the robot was nice enough to share his drive battery to run my little MacGyver television. So, so there you go. That's the other end of the Twitter. It's real exciting, eh? Robot brain, temperature sensor, talks to the computer, sends it out. 5.5 minutes to explain that.